trauma was one of the biggest things that drove me almost. Like, my wife was pregnant and we lost our first child and she nearly died at the same time.
Oh.
And I sat in a hospital for 12 hours on the floor on my own, and my mindset changed to, I have to provide. I have to give everything I've got, like, this is what matters. But it changed my mindset. I got up and I thought, I need to make sure I'm always there.
Hey guys, my name is Janis Gertmanis. You're watching another episode from us, Construction Crew Limited, and I've got today quite inspirational person, also young in his age, and he's properly smashing in the business. How are you, Ollie? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, good. Nice to meet you as well, yeah.
Can you explain us who you are, how did you start, and what's your background?
Cool, yeah. So I'm a civil engineer, chartered engineer. Started as an apprentice working for Plandescil. Came in at 18, did my A-levels, worked my way part-time through degrees and charterships and things like that. And then at 19, I started looking at AD plants. So it was something I'd never heard of, never worked on before, had no idea what it was. Philip Lucas, who works for Future Biogas, came through our door, asked if we could help because he was building a site near us. I put 2 circles in a box and a piece of paper and never looked back, really, yeah. And here we are nearly 15 years later. We've done a couple of hundred sort of AD plants in different places in the UK at different stages, different inputs. And it's, yeah, I've now got 17 people working underneath me, whereas at one point it was me on my own with a piece of paper. So quite a leap in a small amount of time, yeah.
Impressive, yeah.
Yeah.
So is it Future Biogas the only customer you working with, or there was loads of customers you work with?
Yeah, loads. So we could be involved with the customer like Future Biogas, BioConstruct. You've had Danny on before. Working with direct for contractors, David as well. You've had him on as well. Yeah. So working with those guys quite a lot. Working direct for funders. Working direct for landowners. We might be working on a planning application for someone. We might just be designing a piece of concrete for someone. It can literally be anything and everything, even down to the point now where we go back in after they're built and do a lot of the as-built surveys and the remedial surveys and information on sort of bunding for the Environment Agency. So it can literally be anyone and everyone almost we could be involved with. It's quite wide.
The spectre is massive,
it's
isn't
really,
it?
really wide, yeah.
So I haven't mentioned your business name. What is the business name and when it's been established?
So the business name is Plandescil Limited. It's a civil, structural, environmental and surveying business. So it was established in 1979 by 2 brothers called Simon and Julian, and they've now retired. They handed the company over in 2015 to myself and 5 others. So they made us directors and the company was sold to itself, which sounds quite odd. It's based on the John Lewis model, so It's an employee-owned company, so everyone has a share in it. There's a pot of shares to the side that they're not really dealt with. They're kind of there in the background. They're not really part of it. But so every pound we make a profit is split between everyone that works there, and there's about 40 people in there roughly now. So it's not run for the benefit of one person at the top. It's run for the benefit of everyone, which has been quite successful because everyone that works there now has their own leadership in terms of, well, if I see someone slacking off, that directly affects me and my life. And equally in terms of if you want to progress, because it's based on apprentices and nearly everyone that's come through there has come in as an apprentice or a graduate or at some level of training. We've trained someone at some point to build them up and build their career up and build them up as an engineer or surveyor or something like that. So it's worked quite well in terms of career progression and making everyone work for each other and work for themselves as well.
Yeah, me particularly, I never heard something like that the company can sell it to itself and make kind of that way. It sounds quite interesting for myself, and I definitely will do some research on it.
It's well worth some research. The employee ownership model is very different because it can differ from company to company. So there's different incentives. You can add incentives. So for our employees, they get a tax-free bonus every year. Yeah. So a tax-free bonus is a big incentive to have in there, and you can start to then add incentives in. So there's bike to work schemes, and there's all sorts of different schemes you can add into it to make it more kind of appealing to people, because you always struggle to recruit people, which is why you do so much training, because civils isn't particularly interesting to a lot of people
Yeah.
because they don't know what it is normally. So you're not going to pick that out of the degree catalogue. When you're looking for a degree, you're going to pick out something like sports science or something that's a bit more interesting in there. So civil engineering doesn't tend to sell itself very well.
Yeah. But going back to yourself.
Yeah.
So before you start in your business, what is that you're studying?
So I went to school and did my A-levels. So didn't do particularly well, which is quite standard of most people we've got in our business. You know, a lot of people do their A-levels and they don't do particularly well. And it's that motivation then to think, actually, I do need to apply myself.
Right.
So I did a civil engineering degree, but I did it part-time while I worked at Plandescil, and they funded me through that as I was an apprentice. So I was a proper apprentice, so 4 days a week at work, 1 day at uni, and then college as well, and doing everything at night time, working through the night. So that's
that's
a hard way of doing it.
From.
Yeah.
So now you are in the Plandescil. You are one of the directors.
Yeah.
You are running part of the business, which is completely under yourself.
Yep.
Everybody else involved doing their things.
Yep.
So it's working literally as a body. If something's wrong, everybody feels the impact.
Yeah, so it works quite well as a collective. Although we've all got our individual areas or expertise, and that's why it works quite well in AD, because AD is quite vast in terms of what it can be. So there's environmental issues, there's civil issues, there's structural. So although I've got sort of 17 people roughly with me most of the time, that might be split across all 40 people at some point. So at some point, everyone in our business has worked on the AD side of the business, because we can spread our services across it, and we can use different services we do to help the customer and the client with things like that as well.
What is the main service you provide? Let's say if somebody are interested in your company's services, what is the main thing you are providing, and then you going on to the sides? Yeah,
so civil and structural engineering is the core of the business. So it's engineering based. So it's design of the concrete, design of the buns, design of the drainage, the roads, that type of thing. That's your sort of fundamentals of it. And then everything else beyond that, so looking at surveys and looking at planning permission and helping with environmental agency issues and that type of thing, is all kind of a spur off it of stuff that will, if we know enough about it, we can probably help. Even if we can't solve the entire problem, we can give enough information to the client or to someone else to then finish that, or get the information in to finish it off. So it's just kind of, when you know enough about the process and the site, you can then start to really apply it in a different way.
Right. How many projects company did? It's not really countable, isn't it?
In AD or?
In AD, yeah.
Last count, I think we were a couple of hundred at some point.
Couple of hundred?
Yeah.
How many sites in UK in total you think?
I think about 700 or 800, I think.
700 to 800?
Yeah.
Wow, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Massively.
We keep it under the radar a lot of the time, so we don't shout about it, because we're in and out in different points when people don't really see us. So, yeah, I reckon probably a couple of hundred, involvement in a couple of hundred, yeah, definitely.
So when the project starts, you are now providing your services, and me as a customer, if I approach you, what is the first things you are looking into? As if I fresh come into here, I know I want to build something, either AD or farm or whatever, but I need civil engineering and stuff involved.
Yeah, so blank piece of paper, we look at planning permission. Do you need planning? Have you got planning? Do you need funding? Can we help you get funding? Can we help put you in contact with people who can provide that? Or what's the technical constraint on it? Is there a constraint on that site? Is there a problem whereby we're not going to get rid of the water, or you're going to have a problem with emitting too much sound because you're too close to loads of houses? You know, do we need to bring someone in that knows about that can help us sort that out? You know, before we start to put pieces on the paper, basically, and pen to paper. Have we got a problem that's not overcomable? You know, most things are overcomable, but there's sometimes stuff that's so much money that it's not then worth applying that. You know, or is there a better site? Has that client got another field somewhere that would be better suited to what you're doing? So it's then starting to look at all the outside problems before you because the civil engineering stuff, there's always a solution to it at some point. Yeah, you can always make something work, but it's then the outside problems that would, you know, constrain the civil design normally. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, you know, when I'm thinking, if I would build something or starting thinking to get something built, if I approach a company like yours, I can literally get most of the information I really need, or you can really guide me. Look, if you don't have this, you need this. If you don't have that, is that the process you take all the customers through? Or did you ever had somebody come in really and with having no really idea what he wants to do.
Just self-taught really, a lot of that. So yeah, a lot of people do come in and they know what they're aiming, that they want to make some money off it, or they want to sell it, or they want to invest some money into the land to make it more profitable with a building or something. Sometimes you do get, most times they have a bit of an idea before they come what they want to do. AD is one of them things where normally someone's done a little bit of research around it, or seen someone else doing it and going, well, I like that, I might have one of them.
Yeah, because when I was in Germany now in exhibition, I found that some of the people who comes, because look, we are not selling our services as builder. We provide our services to any sites if it's on the construction or maintenance. But I was together with Bioconstruct on that side on the exhibition. I met them. I've been on the place where there was, and some of the customers came past, and when they asked about the project, it sounded a bit to me that they have not a much clue. Yeah, they know what the site will do. Yeah, but they have no proper understanding. What does it involves? How much feedstock you need? Yeah. What's the finance? What's the benefit literally from it? They know the idea that it works somewhere.
You do find that a lot. Yeah, you do find you have to sometimes put a lot of information in, and it can be a risk sometimes. You could be putting all this time into it, and they might just go, "Nah, that's not for me." Yeah, and if that happens, that happens. It's one of those things. It's a risky business what you're in. So it's quite normal for that to happen. On the odd one or two. Most clients that will come like that will generally have been recommended to us, because they won't have just found us. Sometimes they do, but it's quite rare. But they're normally been recommended to us by someone. Go and talk to those guys because my friend down the road built one with them, and they were involved. And there's a phone number or an email address or something to get hold of us, and then you start to piece the puzzle together basically and put everyone in the right place.
Sounds really interesting, that business, what you do, to be honest, because there are so many things involved in the process. How do you normally calculate your services? I mean, money-wise, customer comes to you, sells. Someone's is smarter, someone's know what he wants. Yep. Someone's might not. How do you separate that, and how do you know what you're going to charge, and how do you put that?
I normally try and work it on, well, basically it's quite easy to work out normally. When you've seen a project from start to finish a few times, you start to get the basis of like a database really of how much jobs are costing and what they look like they're going to cost normally. So I can normally give a pretty good estimate straight off the top of my head, because we've done so many now. Yeah. Say like, well, start to finish, we're going to be X to Y roughly, and it can vary in between because of what your problems are. But normally, the last 3 or 4 years, we've done these jobs, and this is what they've come out at, and you're going to be similar to that. So you can normally start to pick it off. We have a database we go back to, so we keep updating it, keep checking it. But if they say they want us to do something specific, then I'll kind of, again, go back to it, work out, I think it's going to take 20 hours or it's, 4 weeks.
So you basically work on hourly rates?
Yeah, everything's based around an hourly rate.
Same as we do. We don't really love the idea of fixed pricing.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for it. And when you're doing something that can have so many variables, there's no way we could do it start to finish with a fixed price. We'd have to ramp the fees up so much that it just wouldn't be fair on the customer. You'd be absolutely fleecing them for no reason at all. Yeah, you got to give them the best value for money. They don't want you to walk away with everything. Yeah, because that's not right either.
And this is what I'm trying to say to my customers, because loads of customers want me to give them a fixed price, and I say, look, I know we're going to come to your site. I know we are professionals in what we're doing. But we can't give you a fixed price because it will be unfair. If we make it up a fixed price, we add
risk on
something to risk with, Yep. And sometimes our lads can go and finish it. Let's say we gave him a quote for 5-day job, but we did it in 2 days. Which customer going to be happy to pay 5 days when he we finished it in 2 days?
That's it.
And this is what ruins the relationship in between.
Yeah, you don't want to do that to people.
No.
Yeah.
So we're saying, look, we're coming in, we're doing everything. If you see we're doing something wrong, or we're sitting, don't do our job properly, then we can discuss it. But we're trying to get our job done.
That's it.
And you pay what you want. Yeah. You literally pay for what you
get. For what you've got. Yeah.
Yeah. Not overpaying like
that's
that.
It. Yeah. I've found that a lot. I've found, certain services that you deliver, you can do a fixed fee. If it's real obvious start to finish fixed fee, that's fine. We do a topographical survey, we go out and survey the land. We can do a fixed fee on it because you know what we're going to see. You can look on Google, you can see what's going to be there. Yeah. Fine. When you're trying to do a bigger project, and you know, some of these projects go on for like 4 or 5 years. You can't give a fixed fee over 4 or 5 years because you'd never get to the end of it. You'd be done before you got to the end. So you just can't do it a lot of the time. It has to be like either stage payments, and we try to work on monthly and work it back from that, or you work into an estimate. You know, you think it's going to be about this based on these parameters and these problems that you expect to face, but you just don't know what's going to, particularly with planning as well. Yeah, planning permission can throw up all manner of things where you have no idea how long it's going to take you to resolve it.
But how? Yeah, this is kind of weird. You know, when because someone needs to budget the project.
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
and you know, when they know planning can take time. Yeah, they need to have a massive bumper.
They do
to be secured.
Yep.
In a way,
you need a good funder that understands it. So. Again, because AD is a very small industry, like we were saying earlier, it is quite a small. Most of the funders now understand. It's
brilliant industry because it's not full of.
It's not full of people coming in all the time. There's people that try and come in and out and stuff, but when you know what the risks are, you know potentially is a problem, you know what contingency you might need. That contingency is always in the background of a funder somewhere that knows there might be a problem, and you can highlight it to them, and they're aware of it. They're not going to be, concerned at the fact planning's been delayed. They're going to be concerned to a point, but they understand that there's always a risk to it, and the problems that they faced on this site are probably no different to what they faced on the last site. Again, normally it stems around lack of knowledge of people not knowing what it is, why it's there, what it's doing, how's it going to look. No matter how many times you send pictures in, it's difficult to visualize it where it's going to be.
Some side are going to go properly, more smoother. Some side are going to be stuck in some point.
Yeah, some have stop-start things.
But you're already planning all those expenses.
You try and plan it.
If it goes on the break.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Your company sounds quite big at the minute. Yeah. Because of the amount of sites being done only in AD. Yeah. I don't know how much you did something else. That's possibly countless, not countable to be honest.
So since they started, I think we're on nearly 29,000 jobs.
29,000 jobs.
Yeah, there's a job number for every job, and I think we're nearly on 29,000 now.
So the company is how many years old? About
43.
43. Yeah. So that's since that time, or
since 1979. Yeah.
Or since that time.
Yeah, I think when we took over, it was on 22,000, something like that.
It's incredible. Yeah. It's like literally busy all the time.
Oh, it's always busy. Yeah.
You are delivering designs and stuff, mostly electronically. Yep. Do you do any physical services, like a physical job on site?
Yeah, so a lot of the guys on the AD stuff are physically on site because they're going back to survey it, to check it. We do a lot of CQA, so construction quality assurance, where you have to go back and check it. You have to go and have a look at it. Is there a problem with the bund? Are we going to sign it off as fit for purpose? Is it okay? Are the drains working? We have to go back yearly to do that as part of the requirements for most of the permitted sites. But we also go out and do as-built surveys, topographical surveys, drainage surveys.
Are you doing yourself?
The drainage survey stuff I run and the utilities I run. And then there's another director that runs like the topographical and the land surveys and things like that. So he runs that side of it. But we having to go out. I mean, last year, as an example, we did nearly 60 site reviews for AD of just like the bunds and what's happening to the drains. About 60 sites we went to last year just for the changes in permit regulations that came up. And because we knew how they were built on some of them and some of them we didn't, but because we had the expertise as a civil engineer to understand how things are built, we could go back and check it and then say, well, we recommend you do this, this and this to get it compliant, or you're already compliant, or you're completely way off. There's no containment here, and this is what you need to get up to standard.
Right. So you go in to check these 60 sites, but they already finished sites who just need that yearly inspection. Yeah. How many... I know you can't maybe answer the question properly because you're not involved in all the projects, but how many projects last year was built or was in the building process?
What, for AD?
AD industry.
God.
Do you know how many your company was involved? How many sites?
Yeah, we were involved in a lot last year because there's a lot of sites that had remedial works done and additions added on. So probably 10 or 12 different sites, last year at some point or other, whether they're having things added on or they're brand new or they're having retrofit done on different things. Probably 10 or 12 over the year,
To be honest, we are in the industry every day. Yeah. We don't have this information because we don't approach that. We don't talk, we don't research for that information because we're looking for the job we do. Yes. And it's quite interesting for me to understand that it's really busy market in UK, to be honest, in AD as well.
Busier.
And this year is even busier, yeah.
This will be, at the minute, it's like probably going to be the busiest year we've ever had for sites being built with AD. Just to start the year, it's just been absolutely crazy.
It's just incredible.
Yeah.
So that means AD market booms, one of the biggest issues is because of the situation in the world, innit?
Yeah.
They just want to get that independent energy.
So,
That's
yeah.
why they allow building more AD sites.
Yeah, the tariff's good at the moment. And obviously, if we're busy now, that means the next few years, everyone else that comes in behind us is then going to be busy for the next probably 3 or 4 years at least. So
Good for us.
Yeah, we can celebrate, yeah.
Yeah, we can celebrate, yeah. Wow, yeah, it's seriously incredible because, you know, we working now really close to BioConstruct.
Yeah.
They are our biggest client.
Yeah.
BioConstruct is, to be honest, only client who we provide with our services in construction.
Okay.
Into build sites. We've been approached by other companies as well. We are waiting on. We might going to get some business together with other company who build sites in UK.
Yeah.
But mainly BioConstruct, and you know we don't have that information, and it's really good for me to meet people like you who's more involved in different kind of things in AD, and I can get more information and educate myself. And
there's a lot going on. There's always something in AD. There's always a change. There's always a regulation. There's always something happening that means you've got to up your game.
Yeah.
I think I've noticed that when we first started, we were maybe doing 40 drawings for a job and it'd be done and finished.
Yeah.
Now we're doing 100, 120 because there's so many details they have to have, whether it's the environment agency, the client, the people fitting stuff out.
Yeah.
There's so many details you have to provide. And because the industry evolves, like I say, you could be on a job. We've got some jobs we've been going on for nearly 10 years, backwards and forwards, changing stuff, adding stuff on.
Yeah.
Tariff changes to regs, changes to what their process is even and what they put in it, you know. And it's an evolving industry that there's not many people in.
Do you know at the time when rules change into having a site on the field to having a site now bundled in the concrete?
Yeah.
Do you know when that happens? Because I just seen it because I remember we was fitting pipes in the ground, covered in mud.
Yep.
But now we are doing clean hands on the top of the concrete.
I can tell you exactly. 2014, 2015, massive change in regulations. It's a document called Syria C736 was introduced, and it's a copy and paste almost from the petrochemical industry.
Right.
So that was introduced after a couple of problems with a few tanks in different sites, and they had spillages and cracks and different types of things. And it hit us. We saw the document come through. We had a site we were about to start building, and it said, you must comply with this. And it was written in really small text. I remember picking up
like always.
I remember picking up the document, reading it and going, don't know what that is. We need to go and check that. Went and checked it. And the next thing we spent 6 months negotiating with the Environment Agency about how we did it, what the problems were,
because the price
it shot the price up
through the ceiling, innit?
Add a good $1 million onto the civils build.
Yeah,
a good £1 million,
yeah,
which
easily.
at the time was a lot of money. It was almost doubling it. Yeah,
definitely.
So I remember it going through, and the redesign since that, and working through that process to get a bundled design that's compliant. Everyone's like, a bit of concrete in the ground, it's fine. It isn't when you're the funder or the person that's not budgeted it. They want something cheaper. There's loads of other
things changing, innit?
Yeah.
It's not only concrete. Plastic pipes now is history.
Yep.
Now we need to install stainless steel, which is double the price, triple the price. All the pipe supports, insulation, that makes that price just...
It does. Everything skyrockets, and it came in, and the industry didn't know how to deal with it. Yeah. No one knew how to deal with it, and you have to stop and look and go, actually, how can we deal with this?
But there should be some changes in the money investors get back.
Yeah.
I mean, if they agree on the price for the electricity at the time when they build those sites, electricity sites, if they agree on the same price as it was before the regulation changed, there's no point to invest.
No,
because you need to invest another $1 million. So it means you're going to get your money back even later,
longer down the line. Yeah, but that's what's happening. It's getting later and later because there's more and more cost built into them. So the tariff change going up means that should bring some of that back, but it's always a flipping change between it. And when you're now going back and you're trying to retrospectively apply that, so there's sites that are built without containment and now they want containment added, it's an added complication of that isn't always possible. You can't always get what the Environment Agency want. Sometimes you have to go down a different option, look at a different material. It might not be concrete, it might be a liner, it might be something that's like a completely different product. There's lots of different products out there that are like clay liners and concrete canvas and things like that. They're completely different that we've used and tried and tested. And the only way to do it is to go through the hardship of trying it, going through the permeability, issues and how's it going to work and can it work? And you have to get right back down to the kind of detail and the numbers of it. It's quite a difficult process. And when you've just got to the point which we had a few years ago of we know what to do, we know how to follow the risk assessment, we can start to roll these out, we know what to do, bang, another change in regulations.
But now, after so many years in the industry and doing the same sites, they're changing slightly now.
Again,
something new comes in, possibly some new technology they're using. But most of the time, the civils shouldn't really change a lot, in my mind. I know you would say, come on, there's hundreds of things can be changed.
Yeah.
But I mean, loads of the things you can like copy paste by checking laws.
You can, within reason, you can. Yeah, there's an element of it. If it looks like it should, in theory, be a copy and paste, and there's certain elements that are the same and do stay the same. It's the tweaks around the outside, and it's the tweaks to the job where you always try and improve. So the last job we did something different there. Well, we'll take that on to the next job, and then that might highlight something else that needs changing. So you're always looking for that next step of improvement or that next cost saving or one of the big changes.
That was the question.
Yeah. One of the big changes we did was we started off putting steel in the concrete.
Yeah.
So, steel reinforcement. And then we were like, well, there must be a quicker and a cheaper way of doing this. It's taking a long time. Can we do plastic
and them
fibers?
Little plastic things.
Little plastic fibers in there, yeah. So we started introducing them, and then that had to go off to Sweden to have a specialist design done, so that we could prove that it worked. And we've now got a process where that goes off.
Is that idea coming from your company?
Well,
that was
where we started doing that. Yeah, we started doing that and introducing it.
That was something really weird when I approached one of the sites, the new sites, and I'm looking on that concrete, and it's like concrete with hairs.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, what is that?
Yeah.
And then I think Danny, husband, explained me what exactly it is.
It was quicker to do. We could do bigger areas of pours. So we could pour a bigger area. So you're saving on labour. You're saving on the time putting the steel in the ground. It was cheaper at the time. Plastic fibres were a lot cheaper than steel. You could do big areas in big pours. We even then started looking at other options, like can we remove the concrete from it? Can we go to what's called SEM-free concrete?
But those plastic fibres, well, of course, when you study things and you understand how they work, it's quite simple. But for me, when I'm thinking, when you got your metal bar, it should hold together
solid,
big plates of concrete.
Yeah.
But now in this new concrete, you have no steel at all.
Not a lot of the time, no. Most areas of the containment bunch don't have any steel in at all yet.
And it's proper.
It's all about reducing the crack width. Yeah, getting the crack width down to the right percentage and the right millimeters to get it through the compliance.
Is this technology applicable only on foundations, or it could be in the walls as well?
It's not so easy in the walls.
It's not
as easy to do in the walls. No, it can be applied, but it's not as easy to do it. And generally, it's more complex, and you're better to use a steel reinforcement in the walls than you are to use fibers.
Steel will be.
That's the better way to do it, because you're trying to hold it up against anything tipping over, pressure, against the pressure. If it does, what it's there for is a catastrophic failure.
Yeah.
So if it catastrophically fails, those walls have got to withstand that kind of tank going out and holding solid.
How do you? I guess there is a lot of formulas to calculate when people ask you to calculate concrete quality or the thickness.
Yeah.
For the fermenter.
Yeah.
Because fermenter gets filled with a lot of.
Yeah, so we're normally working underneath it. We're not normally working on. So that's another specialist design that comes out from somewhere else normally. So somewhere like Wolf or something like that will have to have a specialist design just for the tanks. And we're underneath it, so we'll be doing the underside of it,
like the base
plate, basically. Yeah, and then they'll build off that.
Right. So you don't design
not
tanks.
The tanks. The tanks need to be completely specialist, independent.
All right. So they specialize only to do. Yeah. Them kind of projects.
People like Wolf or Drosler or someone like that. Yeah.
Is there a big difference why you can't do it, or you just?
It's insurance mainly.
Oh, it's insurance
mainly? In the UK. Yeah, insurance in the UK does not want us designing concrete tanks. They have to have specialist insurance just for that. Yeah.
So basically, when Wolf, because Wolf is German's company, I think.
That's it. Yeah.
So when Wolf comes into UK and build these tanks, they are covered by German's insurance companies.
Yeah, and then we have to normally go back through their process and get their CQA, so their construction quality stuff, signed off by them. But we write the document for them to sign a lot of the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
oh, this is mad. I never had all this information, you know.
So much.
Now I'm going to be a lot
doors.
more smart about our AD industry.
There's a lot of information behind closed doors that perhaps isn't seen. You know, when you go in the site office, there's all them folders on the wall.
Yeah.
You open them up, there's probably some Plandescil names in there somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. Never met anyone from your company, I guess.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to get more information now for myself, because I've been in AD also over a decade now.
Yeah.
And for me now, I understand I know only a bit of what we do. What we do, I know ins and outs.
Yeah.
No problem with that. But when I know now how that concrete gets together, why these plastic things are used, you know,
there's a lot of time behind that as well. There's a lot of like scratching heads and people sitting there going, we need to change how we do this. We need to find some more cost saving. Normally it comes down to cost saving. Is we need to save some time. We need to save some cost. How can we do this?
Who is the person asking you, how can we save our money?
So normally it will be someone like, normally is in control of the budget. So
investors.
It could be the investor. It could be the guy who's running the project for the project manager for them. It might even be down to the civils contractor going, we're going way over budget here with this stuff because there's more and more and more coming in. I haven't budgeted for this. Like, how can we get this cost down? What can we do? Where can we shave some cost savings off? What options are there? Can you look at some options? And then we'll go away and try and find some other options for it. So
your company, by working in the industry with those customers, you found a lot of ways how to save their investor money and
try to time and money. Time is sometimes more important than money, because the quicker we get it done, the quicker it can generate money.
Of course. So, then investor starts to earn money, and he's happy to pay you because you saved his money.
So something at the moment now, the plastic fibres are about the same as the mesh.
Yeah.
So what's quicker, and what's quicker is putting the plastic fibres in rather than the mesh.
It's an incredible idea.
Yeah.
It's really, if people understand, if you really think about it, it's metal normally in the concrete.
Yeah, it's cross bracing basically. Lots of crossing steels and replacing the steel that you would normally see in the ground, the reinforcement, with little bits of plastic.
But to be honest, with these plastics now, it's a lot easier to work with that concrete.
Yeah, because you're not having to worry about
drill easily.
Yep.
You're never going to get to the metal and try to drill 2 hours through that one metal.
There's loads and loads of positives.
It's a lot of positive sides of it.
And it's easier to work with, to manipulate if you need falls. It's because if you put the steel down, you've got to do it first. And if you look at it and go, oh, we need a fold somewhere else, or we put something else in, before you lay the concrete, you can easily adjust it.
No problem at all, isn't it?
It's easier to adjust. Yeah, once you've set the mesh up, that's it. You're not readjusting it.
So now I understand your company is everywhere in the UK.
Yeah.
Is it somewhere else as well? Does the company provide services outside the UK?
We've done the odd job in Europe here and there, bits and pieces, but there's so much work in the UK. We've never really needed to go outside of it. We've never said we wouldn't, and we've never said we can't. We have done the odd job here and there in different places like Switzerland and places like that, things.
Wow.
And so the odd bits of design work.
Nothing would be hard if someone would ask you, let's say in Germany or whatever, Eastern Europe, to provide some designs. You could do it if you don't need to be there on site.
Yeah, I mean, COVID changed that mainly. Because obviously everyone went remote. So historically pre that, I'd be in the car all day, every day, up and down the motorway, different sites. I barely see my office and my house.
Yeah.
So that pre-COVID, we would have struggled to do that because it wouldn't have been able to have the time to do it. But now everything's remote, and you're dealing with Teams calls and video calls, and even from site. Like, we learned how to do some of the stuff about visiting it. You just get them on a site video phone call, and you can walk around a lot of it. Right. So much easier. The industry's changed in that way to save time. Yeah, everyone has, the whole world has it.
Really helps
massively. So yeah.
So basically, if somebody, let's say in Latvia, in place where I'm coming from, watching this video now, and they think, wow, I need this guy. I want to talk with him because I've got no clue. You would be able to help. Yeah, you wouldn't say, no, thank you, we are busy enough.
No, I mean, we are busy enough, but we'd always look at it. If there's something we can help with and it's going to expand the business, because you never stop moving forward. So you're always taking people on. You're always moving the next step. If I just wanted to stop, I would have just stopped on my own, just doing stuff on my own. I could make my life a lot easier, just doing the odd site here and there and been fine. But that's not really me. I always want to strive forward. I'm driven by, working hard and pushing forward and pushing out as hard as I can all the time.
I believe that mindset.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You just go because there's no stop.
No.
You stop when you're dead.
Yeah, that's it. Just keep
that's
going.
When you stop.
That's
you
just
keep
mindset,
going.
Yeah. There's the time and a place when to stop, and it's learning that. And I've learned that along the way, like where to stop and where to start, and things happen in your life that change your mindset on things. But like, you know where to start and where to stop, and you know what your driving force is and what you're doing it for and why you're doing it.
What is the thing motivates you to get up in the morning and do what
Family.
you do?
100% family.
Family, yeah?
Yep. My kids, my wife, yep.
How many kids do you have?
I've got 2 little girls, 3 and 5, yeah.
Oh, wow, I've got 3 girls. So
A
you're
handful,
both playing girls.
Yeah. I've done it too.
I've got 3 girls. I said I have hat trick now. Thank you very much.
Done, yeah.
That's it.
That's the driving force, yeah. That's what drives me every day, yeah.
So literally you're waking up and go just to build your family as well.
Yeah, for my family, yeah. Yeah, I wake up every day and I know what I'm doing it for. You know, you come home at night, you know why you're doing it. That's when you walk through the door. You have to kind of put your bags down and stop. Yeah. And then you go again.
Enjoy your family.
Yeah, I'll come in, stop, have tea with them, and then I'll get going again in the evening.
Brilliant. Yeah. Where is the company based?
So the company's based in Norfolk. So near Norwich. Primarily a lot of the smaller works around East Anglia, so Norfolk, Suffolk, Cambridge, Essex. The AD stuff was really the stuff that pushed us further afield. We'd always worked further afield, but the AD stuff was always further afield. I was never fussed by travelling, so I took one of the first jobs in Doncaster, and they were like, "Oh, it's a long way to go." I'm not fussed. He's not fussed. You go where the work is, you know. My dad always worked away. He was on site a lot, so for me, it was just it wasn't a thing. I just did it. Got in the car and went. You know, what's the big deal?
So you're in the corner, east corner of the England.
Yep. Yes.
But your services, no matter where in this country.
Yeah.
These 10 hours maximum, I think, travelling to Scotland wouldn't. Yeah,
we're up there at the moment. We're in Scotland at the moment, doing jobs in Scotland.
Brilliant.
Penzance end of last year, down in Cornwall. No problem, yeah.
Have you done anything in Belfast or the area, North Ireland?
Not really, no. We've talked about it. We've looked at a lot of jobs over there. We've never actually done a lot over there. There's quite a few engineering firms over there that do similar stuff. So I think there's quite a lot of market over there. The AD industry is it's really small over there. So I think it will take off at some point. We have looked at it and had a lot of people with interest and shared ideas and stuff over there. But I think it'll take off at some point. But I don't know when it will really take a big leap forward. There's a few over there now, but
yeah, I think there's loads of sites, AD sites in Northern Ireland.
There's a lot of them in Northern Ireland, in Southern Ireland, where I think they haven't perhaps done as many. But there's been a lot of talk, and we've had a lot of conversations with people and stuff about it. But I've
heard that Ireland going to get busy in the next couple of years.
Government changes again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
sounds good for our industry.
Don't mind a flight to Dublin.
But the flight is 20 minutes.
It's fine. I'll do that. Yeah.
20 minutes.
Yeah, that'll be fine. Yeah.
My shortest flight ever was when I went to Germany. It was 40 minutes. I think 40 or 50 minutes from Manchester. No, it was from Heathrow.
Heathrow, yeah.
From
That's not too
incredible, quick.
It's a lot quicker than driving.
In-out, done. But we travelled last summer to Germany by car, and that was long time. Yeah. Really incredible.
Yeah, we've done that before.
So when we get to the points, you are now after starting 19, yeah, literally in the business.
I came in the business at 18, yeah.
18. Yeah. Now you are
34. Yeah.
34. It sounds incredible. That's inspirational for somebody. It could be really inspirational to see that. Normally, when you're younger lads, say 18, 19, and you see somebody driving nice car, living good house, you think, oh, they all the fellas. They it took a long time for them to do something big. Yeah. Tell me, what was the reason you think you need to go in business versus just I need a good job, get my wage?
I think different things happen in your life, and your mindset changes. Like I said before, like things happen and it changes. I come from a family that's worked on site. My dad worked on site. My mum worked different jobs to make sure that, you know, we're a working class family. And, you know, my grandparents both worked lots of jobs. My granddad travelled the country like my dad, you know. So I'd seen that kind of work ethic there. Both my uncles did apprenticeships, one in engineering, one in banking. Again, work ethic, get up in the morning, go and you work hard. That's what you do. And I think it was ingrained in me to do that. It took me a couple of years to find my feet, really. And the AD thing was what really kicked me off, because I could grasp it. It was mine, and I could really drive it forward, and I wanted that. And I wanted that. I wanted the team. I enjoyed managing people, so I've got a bigger team than everyone else, purely because I think I enjoy the management of it and doing it. And AD gave me that, and it gave me something I could really get hold of and kind of grasp. And I worked really, really hard. You know, you're talking 70, 80, 90 hours a week, every week. No no stopping it. It was non-stop, and my wife was doing the same. She was working hard, and we were both working hard because we both knew what we wanted to achieve, and we sort of pushed each other forward.
Yeah.
And you know, I think it was just something that I wanted to do. I think because I had that grasp and I wanted to do it, I was going to do it whatever. And then, you know, things happen like trauma is one of the biggest things that drove me almost. Like we just got married, and my wife was pregnant, and we lost our first child, and she nearly died at the same time. Oh. And I sat in a hospital for 12 hours on the floor on my own, and my mindset changed to, I have to provide. I have to give everything I've got. Like, this is what matters. And it was a kind of life-changing moment of, it was hard, and mentally and physically it was hard.
Can't imagine.
Yeah, it was an awful experience to go through, but it changed my mindset. I got up and I thought, I need to make sure I'm always there. I need to make sure I can provide for that family. So I again got up, and I just got up and gone again. You know, I need to do it. I need to make sure I'm there for her and I can support her. And I did that. And then we had our first little girl. And that moment you hold them, you know, again, your life changes again.
Mental.
Yeah. And then
that shows how your mental strength, how powerful is it?
It's mental strength. Yeah. I mean, we got through that together. Me and my wife is my rock. Yeah. I wouldn't get through what I've done without her. Whether it's I get home at night and I tell her everything I've done in the day. That's what you do. You know, that's what is there. And it's kind of strength through adversity almost, and trauma pushes you to do that, and things change. And my first little girl was born, and I was coming back at night and stuff, and then we had our second one just as COVID hit, and I then had to adjust to working at home, and I was there all the time, and I could see them all the time, and I suddenly thought, hang on a minute, I need to tweak this a bit. I'm missing out. I should be here a bit more. So then being able to work at home gave me the ability, and I thought, well, if I'm missing out, everyone else is missing out. Yeah. And then we had a discussion with us as all directors, and we decided to introduce hybrid working and stuff like everyone else has. So we now work at home part of the time, and everyone adjusts their time to work around it and work the industry. You still work the hours,
yeah,
but like you change in mentality again. Your kids are only there for a short time, so you make sure you make the most of it. You know, you're not working every weekend or weekend. You adjust your hours. Like, I work at night now to make sure that I finish and have tea with them.
Yeah,
and just little things like that, and it's just. But you wouldn't have got to that point without just pushing through it, and changing. Yeah,
haven't even imagined that would be something that drives you. You know, you went through something incredible. Nobody would ever want to go through. You know,
no, exactly. Yeah,
and you never can control things like this. And and it's good that you are healthy and powerful man, and your mental strength is keeping you going.
Yeah, it's mental strength.
I hope your wife is
she's
good
fine,
and fine as well, and you got 2 kids after.
Yep, that's enough.
It's something incredible.
It just changes it, and everyone has that. I think the more people you talk about it, the more people you realise other things have happened to people that then change their mindset. But it's that drive to make sure that you can provide.
Yeah,
it's a weird thing. It's just a flick of a switch, literally, and it's like, right, I know what I need to do. I know what I've got to do, and I know how to do that, and I can adjust to that. But you still have to keep adjusting to it all the time. It's like business; you have to adjust all the time.
Yeah, definitely. You need to be on the pulse.
Yeah,
every day.
Yeah.
Whew, yeah. You gave me a bit of a thought.
Yeah, it's thought-provoking.
It's incredible. You know, you're good in the business you do. You went through something mad. You know, God gave you something to go through. You know, and it's just. I don't have enough words to explain.
No, it's one of them things. It's something that's not really spoken about. Yeah, it just changed your life. Yeah, things change your life. You know, it happens. You never know it's going to happen. Stuff happens, and you have to just get up and get on with it again.
Yeah.
If you stop, that's when you have a problem all the time.
Then you start to suffer.
You have to talk about it and be open. But
yeah.
And when you're open with people, then you start to hear more from other people. So you then start to get more of a feeling for it.
Yeah, incredible. I know we get to the point where we get a bit of a sad thing, and people can now realize that, you know, anything can happen in your life.
Of course it can, yeah.
Just go and move forward. Nothing really needs to stop you. If you need some help, talk like you said. Talk with someone else. Maybe it can help you somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you always talk to people. Yeah.
Don't sit in a corner, dark corner, and try to impact your mind. You know,
exactly. That's the thing to do, is get up and talk to people. Yeah.
this was already motivational thing.
Good, yeah.
Can you give a bit of a good couple words to some younger people who are in the same age when you start in 19, 18, 19? What to do?
I think the biggest thing I'd say is don't be afraid to try something new. You know, you don't know what's going to be around the corner. So if something's there to try, give it a try. If you don't like it, you can always say you don't like it. If you don't try it, you won't know.
Yeah.
And it's just hard work, isn't it? You've got to work hard. Nothing's given to you. And particularly in like a civils industry, it's a big industry. There's lots of different jobs you can do in it. And there's lots of different ways to move into different jobs. So it's just working hard, trying different things and giving it a go. And what's the worst that can happen? You know, if you don't like it, you just try something different, you know.
Yeah.
There's no harm in giving something a try.
That was Ollie, guys. Wonderful story. Powerful man. Possibly the first man I met with who went through something harsh like that. If you need any help from Ollie's side of the planet where he is in, you know, civils and stuff, get in touch. And I really appreciate that you came over.
You're right. No worries. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, mate.